My name is Michael Goldberg, and I'm sitting in my backyard with the birds chirping. I'm the executive director of our Veale Institute for Entrepreneurship on campus, and I'm also a professor at the Weatherhead School of Management, where I teach courses on entrepreneurship. And we've been doing this speaker series since January, at first at ThinkBox, and then broadcasting out via Facebook Live and Zoom to chapters, but since March, all remote. And this has been a great way to keep in touch with alums around the world. We've had a couple of other international sessions, which have been wonderful because it's great to hear perspectives of alums in different parts of the world. All of our sessions are student moderated, and we're thrilled that Noelle Nelson, who's a biomedical engineering undergraduate student, and working in our remote entrepreneurship project program this summer with a medical device entrepreneur here in Cleveland, and also doing another internship from her home in Rochester, Minnesota. So Noelle, thank you so much for moderating. The format of this will be, we will literally turn it over to Noelle momentarily, and she'll lead the discussion with Masayo. And we'd love to hear your questions for those that are on Zoom or Facebook Live. So if you're on Zoom, just either put in the chat or raise your hand to let Noelle know that you wanted to ask a question. If you're on Facebook Live, just put it in the comment section, and Doug and I or Shami will sort of make sure that we see it, and we'll bring it inside here. So with that, let me turn it over to Noelle, and it's great to be here with everybody.
Thanks, Michael. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm excited for you guys to hear what Masayo has to say. Like Michael said, if you have any questions, just feel free to unmute yourself. It's meant to be more of a discussion. But anyway, so to get the ball rolling, I'll let Masayo kind of introduce herself a little bit more.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about your company and how you got from a student to a CEO.
Thank you very much for your introduction, Noelle. I'm Masayo Matsumura, MBA and MD. And I got my MBA in the major in health systems management and Weatherhead. And afterwards, I experienced that a few startup companies, both in the United States and Japan. And I got to the Okayama University Medical School. This is in Japan, and I got MD. And this year is the 15th year as a medical doctor. Time flies. Anyways, and my clinical career is psychosomatic internal medicine. My base is internist, but it's quite in a mix of the internist and also psychiatric area. So my patient basically since 2014, my major part of the clinical practice is that adult with developmental disabilities. That is the autism type of ASD people and ADHD people. And my business career is that I launched my company 2017, and I'm CEO. And maybe some people might think that, what is BiPSEE? What does it mean? And BiPSEE stands for Biopsycho Social Eco-Ethical Model. And this is based on that, the psychosomatic internal medicine. And my career is, I started my career as a business person. So I'm quite interested in not only the medicine area, but also the what should I say, the patient journey type of approach. So I'm really think that this approach is very, very important. And what the mission of myself and my company is using XR to draw out and enhance our inherent power. Inherent power means, in this context, is that healing and curing power by yourself. And so this is the concept of my company and what I'm doing now. And BiPSEE now is that, well, this is a very famous startup life cycle. And we are just before Series A. And the company is 3 years old. So you might think that it's a little bit kind of a slow kind of a starter, but it's a steady step. And fortunately, today, I closed that the financing. So I'm so relieved. Anyways. And first of all, I think that it will be useful for everyone to confirm that what is the VR, AR, MR. And I understand that Case Western Reserve University, very, very much advanced situation, mixed reality utilization, especially in medical school. So today's members might be quite familiar with the mixed reality. And as you know that this is digital content interacts with your real world. You can touch that via digital context in the real world. And sometimes maybe you can dance with it. And VR is a virtual reality is digital environments that shut out the real world. But the point is, the virtual is virtual. However, the experience in virtual world is very real. So that is the point, and that is the core of the immersiveness. And augmented reality is the digital content on top of your real world. And in my business, I mainly use the VR technology, but the combination of the AR and VR is also in our services. And our first product, we launched that last year. Oh, there's some questions. No, did I miss something? Is okay?
That was just me posting my LinkedIn profile and telling people
okay.
questions. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, my first product is for the patient support, targeted at the kids. And the product name is the BiPSEE Medical XR. And this is not a sexy name, but it's really easy to understand, I think. The XR means that in this context, AR and VR. And the product is for the dentistry, and also the inpatient situation. And how does it work? The situation is, this is the clinical office setting, and this is medical doctor, and this is nurse, and you're supposed to be very small kids and very, very anxious for the medical practice. So the nurse came to you and says, maybe you might be interested in the PC world, and that's the smartphone, and with that the Google, and your world is the AR in the clinical office with the computer graphics, and you can enjoy the situation, and then before the medical procedure, like needle procedure, and nurse turn to the VR. So the scene is covered by a computer graphics, and so you cannot see the needle, touch of the needle thing. So the kids is minimize their anxiety and pain. And I would like to show that how it works in the real situation. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the hospital, university hospital, and this girl has the congenital heart disease, and she needs that on time to time what should I say, hospitalization, and it is always the case that she needs to have the a needle procedure, and so this is the her always situation, but she always fear that needle procedure. And today, she has to put that the AR and VR. She's looking at the AR, and this is a Christmas program, and she said that, oh, I can see the stars. And problems of her needle procedure, her vein is still thin, and you cannot get approach the usual approach. So you need to put the needle on the back of your hands. And so just go to the a little bit, go first, fast. And his doctor speak to her, and speaking to her and interaction enhance her the immersive impact of the AR. And he asked him that, which do you prefer, AR or VR? She says that, well, I prefer the VR, especially before needle procedure. So this is the needle is put in, and just before that, you need to enjoy it. You need to hang in there. So she needs to, the needle situation will begin, and it did. And this situation is a little bit via the shot, but her feeling is very, very good, and she really likes that VR. and the procedure goes and it's done. And they had the conversation with the content of the VR and AR. It seemed that she likes that the snowman because the scene is a Christmas scene. And said that, oh, it's all done. And do you want to see more VR? But she says that, well, maybe next time. She said, I really like that. And this is it for the kids and the patient support business. However, I really more interested in that digital therapeutics area. And I think that some of you are quite familiar with the digital therapeutics because as far as I understand, the United States is kind of the center of the digital therapeutics. And this is, well, for example, that this is the map of that digital therapeutics companies, digital health companies. And a digital therapeutics is really a little bit a small group, seems. However, some of them are very, very great. And I just pick up that several of them. And this is the Click Therapeutics. They are basically dealing with the smoking cessation and major depressive disorder. This company is very famous because Japanese pharmaceutical company have the tie-up with this company, and also the Akiri International. This is also well known in Japanese market. They are not in, but they coming soon. Based on that, the joint with the Japanese pharmaceutical company, and also the I'm really very impressed with the FDA's approach. This is the workshop which I joined at the webinar session. This is the mainly focused at the purely focused in the medical extended reality, and that includes that therapeutics approach and also medical education approach. It's really awesome. And it's all day long program, and I attended that webinar, but it's all night time. So the next day of the program, I just I was just a little bit very sleepy day. And the digital therapeutics area I really what shall I say? It's my benchmark is that XR Health. Some of you familiar with this company? No. It's not a mental area, but it has the mental area, but mainly rehabilitation area. The point is that they are very, very keen on telehealth because of the COVID-19. And as far as I understand, they started telehealth version on March 1st. And I think that many insurance companies admit that this is the insurance covered approach. So this is our benchmark. And that is the landscape of the digital therapeutic things in the United States, and also the point that I'm really interested in to follow. So go back to the my company's situation, and the area that I really interested in, and to product our approach is that visual cognitive behavioral therapy for people with rumination. And some of you might be familiar with the rumination. Rumination is a repetitive thinking, repetition of same thought in your head over and over, and it's really obsessive thinking. So, well, naturally, it's not so bad thing because think deeply sometimes is a very good thing. However, obsessive thinking could be a little bit harmful. And I think that, well, rumination is a risk factor in depression and anxiety. And this is picked up from the, this is the Lancet Psychiatry, and the rumination and comes up to the top as the risk factor. And from my clinical experience, rumination is a number one very difficult area of my practice, because the patient with the ASD and ADHD, from my impression, they have the tendency to have a very strong rumination trait, and it is really tough. And as far as I understand, the best approach to the rumination, I mean, obsessive thinking and harmful rumination, is put aside your rumination first. And abstract expression, making the patient become active. Patients tend to be a very passive, and passive approaches really sometimes make the patient very weak. So the point is, make the patient motivate to make your own approach to your situation. And also at the end, increase your self-efficacy is one of the very, very important point. From the this is the basic standpoint of my approach, and the prototype approaches. This is prototype approaches. I will let you show that. Maybe you can hear that the heartbeat. No, maybe not. And it sounds well. It just escorts you to the different world. And you can reach that the different world, and you encounter your mind. The mind, this is your mind. It's really a cluster thing and shrinking, and just ready for the rumination. So we escort the patient to approach to your own mind by tracking. By yourself, you can move your mind freely and free your mind. So the people move the handset and free your mind, and hope that you can hear the sound. This is the very ringing and very comfortable sound, and you notice that you yourself make your approach to your situation. So you can stop the rumination. You can put your rumination aside, and you are safe, and you can go back to the situation whenever you want. And lastly, we are assisting the patient to go back to the actual world. So that is the prototype. And the next video is that the preparation for feasibility study. And this person is not a patient, and he is the senior doctor of that medical institution. And I'll show how to do this feasibility study. So let me start a little bit. And I prepare that. This is the Oculus Quest. This is all set. And this one is the point that we're motivate him to look at that sound, the circle, and saying to him that you move forward, and you leave the place where you had a rumination, and go to the another world, and you encounter your mind, and this is shrinking and ready for the rumination. So you are recommended to free your mind by yourself using this. And this is his character. He's moved very softly, and some people very move wildly, but his character is a very smooth, very softly. And he moved to the his mind, and his mind is free. So he's now ready to come back to the real world. This is a feasibility study situation. And actually, this might be a little bit, what shall I say? It's a little bit kind of situation. But I would like to share that the concept of my product is related to the Japanese classical dance drama No. And no, sometimes people is very, very quite similar to the AR effect. And as you may know, that no is a major form of classical Japanese dance drama, and that has been performed since 14th century. And this is the oldest major theater art, and that is still regularly performed today. And maybe it might be useful that what kind of the no is. And no is the, well, it's really very, very slow movement. And you can see that the old Japanese music instrument and make a very simple sound. And this is very, very moves smoothly. And some people, it's really not so flashing. It's a little bit dull kind of thing, but I know it's really interesting. Because this is the audience of no, and no is a form of expression in which the viewer becomes very, very active. And everything goes on inside in the audience. And audience follows the progression in the no play, but they are also superimposing various things that happen inside of them or memories from the past on top of what happens on stage. And also, the performance don't really work with the audience. They just say, if you want to know, come here. We do not explain deeply, but you just come. So this makes that audience become active, and it's a way for them to get sense of what's going on inside their brains. And it activates the AR in the brain, in that it should be there, showing you what you can see. So this is the baseline of the my products. So this is the very, very rough explanation of what I'm doing now and what is the background of our products. And I'm quite happy to answer that all kinds of questions, and hope that some part of my presentation might catch your interest to a little bit.
So I have a few questions.
Okay.
One of which is like, how did you get from an MD to actually like starting your own company? Like, what was that process like? And also, like, I know you mentioned the no dance, but to me, like, virtual reality, augmented reality, and mental health are like completely different topics. So like, what was your idea to like combine those? Like, how do you come up with that?
Okay, and your first question is on how do I come up with that idea of to start at the company, and this is really an interesting situation. And as a medical doctor specializing in the ASD and ADHD, I joined at the project and the programming school, especially for people with ASD and ADHD. This is for adults, and that programming school is very focused on that very advanced the technology utilization and engineers and 3D CG designer, the AI kind of thing. And in that school, many people, the gadget like the people and engineers and many creators, if I can say the top creators in Japan get up interested in, just mingles. And I encountered that the creator who has the idea about the to minimize the children's pain and anxiety during the dental procedure. So I got really interested in. That is the one point that maybe I can get started at the company, because this is really, really interesting area. And at the same time, when I experienced at the VR, I really think that, wow, this is really similar to the hypnosis procedure, medical hypnosis procedure. And hypnosis is, well, it's pros and cons, the mixture, but on some part, hypnosis is very useful, I think. And the very first clinical application of VR, that is, as far as I understand, this is Washington University and the Burn Patient Care Center. And it is the pain management. And it comes from the idea is come from the hypnosis. And 2000, this is the very, very first case study report, is in the very famous medical magazine. What is that? I just that name of that magazine just drop on my brain. But so I really think that pain management is really close relationship with the mental, because pain and what should I say, emphasize, because due to the mental situation, if you're very sad, your pain is really, really worse, but your happy situation, your pain is relieved. And one of the interesting research here in Japan that the back pain patient, and the patient group, as saying that a very, very severe pain group, there are two type of people. One type of people is really, really the what shall I say, the MR detect that the trouble of the back. However, almost another group of the patient is that there's no sign, but there's a kind of the interview that the situation, the mental situation, and those people are very, very severe stress. So the pain and the mental is very, really correlated. And also in overseas, I understand that like Oxford University, very, very advanced in the exposure therapy. This is the one area of the psychiatry and mental area. And this is very, very effective. So I do believe that, well, maybe I can do the mental approach by myself based on that, my background.
Yeah, I know I myself am terrified of needles, so I would have loved to be seeing bubbles rather than worrying about some shot I'm going to get. But anyway, we have a question from the audience.
Right. Okay.
How do you think AI will play a heavy role in the future development of your product? Do you use AI in your product right now? Or do you have any plans to incorporate it?
Well, our present product does not have an AI. However, in future, AI is very, very interesting portion, I think. And this is very key. It's customized and personalized. And for example, the color and bubble expression. And it really depends on the people's preference. For example, for me, the red ball is a little bit too strong expression, but some people, the red and those color is really, really wonderful kind of situation. So the people's situation, and maybe we can provide that the best scenario based on the AI approach. But first, we do have lots of cases for AI to have a deep learning. But AI is a very, very promising, wonderful approach, I guess.
Yeah. Hi, Masayo. Thank you for the lovely presentation.
Thank you.
I would just like to know more about the business challenges you encounter as a startup, because I mean, it's an area which is new and evolving. And as a startup, what are the challenges you encounter in terms of funding from the investors, or gaining your customer base, or maybe building a team?
Yes. Thank you very much. Yes, there are many challenges. And first of all, our first product, for the kids. And some of the hospitals are very, very love that product, because the kids looks very happy. However, the market is not so great. So we did some sort of pivoting to the mental areas product. And we do have that product, the first products now. However, we shift that our product development to the mental area. And also financing. It's really a tough situation. Not tough situation, but it always the very, very important thing. And well, at least in Japan, and to what should I say, but maybe the not great as a United States situation, but in Japan there's several very great program for entrepreneurs. It's accelerator programs, and some of them are very, very well known. And but the latest program I joined, it's run by a Digital Garage, the company's name. It's a really well-known BiPSEE in Japan, and do have the records. So the to admit that by the Digital Garage BiPSEE, and my company have the a little bit easier to get the attract of the BiPSEE other angels in BiPSEE. So picked up the very good accelerator program is one of the great I should say not technique, but strategy, I think. And as a business contest, this is great, but due to the COVID-19, the business contest number is really, really small. So it's really a tough one, but and also the network, and the I have been and I am really helped by the what should I say, other entrepreneurs. Other entrepreneurs means that already succeeded entrepreneurs, and they exit already, and very freshly exit this year and last year kind of situation. And as a medical doctor, there's other medical doctor entrepreneurs, and the number of the medical doctor entrepreneur is very small. So that's why we know each other very well. So we sometimes help each other, information based and also the network based. So basically, today's financing that I really just conclude, just finish that. This is the thanks to the network of other medical doctor entrepreneurs network. So that is the financing and team building. Team building is another tough one. This is the really great question, I think. My team, the full-time member, is only 2 so far. And because my concept, the mental, the VR AR product for mental health, is really needs that the good combination with the people. So we are utilized at the network, which I have that the programming school network. At that time, the many people mingled each other, and I encountered that many creators, including the engineers and designers, and those people. Some people are independent, and some people belong to the other companies, including big companies. However, they are interested in. So they are willing to join that product. The concept is really, really unlike. So the team building is that I based on that people's interest and also their energy to the mental health application. So in order to get my companies, I should say, to bigger, and so to go to the next stage, I do need real team building because the present team is not efficient to go to the next stage, I think. So maybe team building is the toughest one, maybe at present, I guess. Thank you.
Emily, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Hey, thanks so much. That was a really interesting presentation.
Thank you.
I'm curious to know, I'm guessing that a lot of the patients, the first time they put on a headset, maybe their first experience with AR. So, I mean, I remember the first time I put on an Oculus, and there's a lot of novelty in that experiencing that technology the first time. I'm wondering if you see the positive effects of your technology endure over time as patients become, I guess, more familiar with the platform that the first time might be really exciting and new to them.
Right. Yeah. And it really depends on the patient. And some patients really fan for the this gadget thing. And my patient, the patient with the ASD and ADHD tend toward that like to those gadget thing. So they're a great fit. But some people are very sensitive to touch on those plastic things, and they do not like that. Those put on those, it's really a headache thing. So in that situation, we are now developing another type of the VR. It's cave type of VR. But not really. The cave means that what shall I say? The social VR. Are you familiar with the social VR? It's on. Oh, okay. And it's maybe I can show you that the some of the example of the social VR, and also I can show that the our experiment using the social VR. It's a kind of a virtual gathering place. And you can get on that place, and you can mingle each other where and you using avatar, and you do not have to wear the headset. So the immersive experience a little bit not so great as the head-mounted display. However, from the PC from your own computer, you can get in the VR environment, and you can get the sense of that the immersiveness. So that is the choice and the alternatives, and also the variation for the patients. Patients depends on the patient's preference. Do I understand your question, or do I understand? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right, thanks very much for that question. Michael, if you want, you can go ahead and ask yours.
Great. Well, thanks. Actually, it's a good follow-up to Emily, although her question was more on the business side. So Emily's an entrepreneur here that has, in the region, that has raised capital from a variety of different ways, including winning competitions where it's non-dilutive funding. There's in Northeast Ohio, we have a number of government-funded programs that are really, many of them at like a regional or even local level, that are focused on supporting the growth of entrepreneurship, because it is so difficult, as you said, even outside of COVID-19, for entrepreneurs to raise capital. So I was hoping you might be able to share some perspectives about what it's like to be an early stage entrepreneur in Japan. You mentioned actually participating in an accelerator program and some of the benefits that comes with that in terms of network and perhaps funding. I'm curious if there's investment funding that's associated with that accelerator program. And maybe just broadly, like, is the Japanese government at any level, national, regional, or local, doing anything, particularly in this time of COVID, to try to support the growth of entrepreneurs and startups like yourself?
Thank you for the question. And Japanese government and also the local government have the program. They do have the program, but not as many as in the United States, I believe. And for example, the Tokyo, I live in Tokyo, and the Tokyo have the several programs, but they do not run by themselves. They have the consulting company, and actual logistics are taken care of by the consulting company, and the government does not have the, it seems that have what shall I say, know-hows to how to deal with it. So they have the money to put on the consulting company, and they run the program kind of situation. And also the nowadays after the COVID-19 I should say pandemic, and the how shall I say, the funding volume is, I have to say that it's shrinking. However, it depends on which area you are in. For example, healthcare and the mental care, it's kind of more. Well, honestly speaking, it is getting more easier for me to get the attention from the what should I say, the funder, what should I say, investors. And the COVID, I mean, a little bit, what shall I say, to minimize the, what shall I say, the stigma to the mental health. And people need the mental health. And mental health for everybody, because everybody have been very, very stressful. So that's why people need to the importance of the, and also the market expansion of the mental health. So in a sense, in my company, in my business, COVID-19 is not, well, not so great thing, of course, but it's not so bad. But however, my friends in tourism and inbound tourism, it's really, really tough situation because the inbound travelers cannot come to Japan, and also the hotels are just shut down in those situations. It's just catastrophe. So it depends which sector you are in.
Great, thank you, Masayo.
Thank you.
All right, I have Ron, if you're comfortable, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
So I'm filled with questions.
Okay.
I'm glad you mentioned hypnosis, because that was one of the first things that came to mind.
Oh, great.
I wonder, how is it personalized for the person, and how is it maximized, and the sustainability of the recovery, and the validation of the treatment, either by surveys or physiological assessment, and how is this related, and then how is this related to neurofeedback? So I mean, as a fellow, as a psychiatrist, I'm filled with perspective, and I just want you to know that when you were in Cleveland, I don't know whether you had much contact with the medical school, but it was compassion was at the heart of Rainbow Babies and Children. He was the first to have mothers staying in, and it was the hospital in the world characterized by compassion.
Okay, thank you very much for your question. And do I understand that your question is the validation of the products in the? Do I understand that?
Right, I understand that would be one thing.
Okay, thank you. Yes, and we are doing that very first feasibility study, and the version 0 I called, and in that situation, the validation is on based on that questionnaire, the SDS, the repetitive thinking questionnaire type of validation. It's a questionnaire. The patient check that the question, yes or no, and the before and after. That is the our first validation system. However, we have the many wearable gadget, and to detect our pulse, and also some of them are very, very easy to use, that the EKG, which is it's the brain.
EEG.
Thank you, EEG, yes. EEG is very, very interesting thing, I think. However, the medical purpose EEG is very, what shall I say? It's a kind of glue thing, and this is really difficult to deal with, especially in the very busy clinical situation. So my plan is easy way to use that the EEG, like the Muse, and also do you familiar with the very, what should I say, simple instruction? It's simple EEG. It's kind of fashionable shape and easy to use. And some American US companies use that that Muse, and also the VR contents, and detect that your brainwave during that the VR and AR experience in any way. And easy EEG instrument does not have the, not not always the how should I say precise. In terms of validation, we need to have the precise tool. So what my plan is, the easy to use EEG, the combination of the easy to use EEG and also functional MRI. The data of the functional MRI, to detect the functional MRI data, and easy to use the EEG, the mixed, and the what should I say, the sign of the a very easy to use EEG, the specific sign, and it means that functional MRIs, this is this sign. So that combination could be realized that easy to use and also the precise validation, I think. So this is just a planning situation, but we started to talk with the Hiroshima University's medical school. There was a professor named Professor Yamawaki. He's the one of the leader of the Japanese psychiatry in the depression, and and they are doing that the neurofeedback approach for the rumination, and we started to talk to collaboration. So I'm really excited too. It could be goes to the precise and easy to use validation.
There may be a simpler way than EEG, which of course is, heart rate variability. If you normalize, heart rate variability, that's an index that might be much easier to track.
Right. Yes, and skin contact and other tools maybe we can use, I think.
Well, thank you very much, Masayo. I know I really enjoyed your presentation. I learned a lot, and I hope everyone else did too. But I'll send it back to Michael to wrap us up.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Noelle, thank you so much for moderating. It's, I think, one of the things that we've enjoyed the most in putting on these speaker series. As much as we've enjoyed our guest speakers, is really getting to feature our students. And Noelle's one of our great ones. And really nice to connect. A lot of times we just, particularly in the world of COVID, like Noelle and I had only ever talked on the phone, so we got to meet each other today. So thank you for doing that, Noelle. Masayo, thank you so much for sharing your entrepreneurial journey with us. It's amazing to hear the progress you're making, the challenges that entrepreneurs, whether you're in Japan, Cleveland, or other parts of the country or world, I think are similar. And I think it's hearing the dynamics of how early stage entrepreneurs, particularly in this time of COVID, are finding support, struggling for support. And you mentioned network. And I think one of the key things, and it's awesome, reconnecting with an MBA alum like yourself. And it sounds like you're active in the Alumni Association for the university in Japan. And once we're back up to traveling again, actually, I hope to get out to Japan at some point again. So we'll look forward to meeting in person. And obviously, we'd love to welcome you back on campus once we're back.
That's so sweet.
And open. So again, hope you have a chance to meet in person. So thank you for taking the time.
Well, thank you very much for this precious time. It's really an honor to have this chance.